Hello, classmates. My name is Lauren Moore, and today I'll be answering the Chapter 10 discussion questions. The first question is, how does purpose, mission, and climate affect organizational listening? When we talk about listening in an organization, it's not just about people hearing each other, but it's about how the company as a whole pays attention to its employees, community, and customers. There are four main things that truly shape that, which are the organization's purpose, mission, culture, and climate. The purpose of an organization explains why it exists. It's basically the big picture reason as to why the company was created in the first place, whether that's to make a product, provide a service, or to solve a problem. On the other hand, the mission explains what the organization does every day in order to reach that purpose. In the textbook, the chapter gave examples like Ford Motor Company, which publishes business principles to show what they value, and Walmart, whose mission is to help people live better. In my opinion, Walmart has a great mission because I've been on the receiving end of the reliability and overall convenience. When an organization has a clear mission and purpose, it becomes easier for everyone, from leadership to even new employees. The mission helps employees understand what matters most and how they should communicate to support that goal. A company's culture is simply its personality. Skene, who is quoted in the chapter, defined culture as the pattern of shared assumptions people learn over time about how to act and solve problems. Culture affects how comfortable people feel with speaking up, how leaders respond, and how open communication really is. For example, Ben & Jerry's has a very playful, creative culture where employees can experiment and express new ideas. That is an environment where listening naturally thrives. But if a company's culture is strict, formal, or even focused only on hierarchy, people may hold back their opinions, resulting in a listening space that suffers. Then there's the organizational climate, which is like the emotional temperature of the workplace and how it feels to be there day to day. Climate is shaped by the culture, but it's more about perception. A positive climate makes employees feel valued, supported, and safe to speak up. That's when collaboration happens and employees feel more motivated to contribute to the team. Alternatively, a negative climate, where people fear being ignored or punished, can completely shut down communication. The chapter even talked about how climate connects to things such as employee morale and social support. When employees feel listened to, they're less likely to burn out and more likely to perform at their best. When all four of these elements work together, the organization becomes what the book calls a listening organization. The next question is, what four factors are described by communication scholar Brent Burleson as important to supportive listening in the organization? So the chapter also touches on Brent Burleson's model of supportive listening, which explains what good listening looks like on an individual level and why it's so powerful in a workplace. Burleson explained four key habits that define supportive listeners. The first one is focusing on the other person, meaning putting your attention completely on them instead of thinking about what you'll say next or trying to relate everything back to your own experiences. This kind of undivided attention shows respect and mentally tells the speaker that they matter in that moment. The second factor is staying neutral. Instead of jumping in with opinions or judgment, you allow the person to share what they're feeling without interruption. Staying neutral doesn't mean you don't care, but that you care enough to listen without bias. The third factor is focusing on feelings, not just events. A lot of people think listening means remembering details, but in a workplace, this can mean recognizing that an employee who's upset about a policy isn't just angry about the rule itself, but that there might be a deeper issue, such as them feeling undervalued or ignored. The fourth and final factor is supporting feelings rather than trying to fix them, instead of saying something like, "You'll be fine," or "Here's what you should do." Supportive listeners actually validate what the other person is experiencing. It's basically about saying, "I understand how that must feel," instead of trying to solve it right away. The chapter also says this kind of listening helps build listening safe zones, where people feel free to express themselves without being judged. Burleson's approach is important in the workplace because not every employee wants advice or a solution. Sometimes you just want to feel acknowledged. Thank you for listening. Also, I know that was very That was a lot. I'm in a hotel. At an away game, and this is the only quiet place I could find. So I'm sorry. Thank y'all for listening.